morning. Look, just what I do again, I want everybody to get involved. Now, the reason I say that is that you feel like what I'm saying, when you really should get involved, I'm not to say. What I'm about to say is that it's been 12 months from the day, and that we are still here. That ought to be enough to say, thank you, God.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then I've been a little further. That was 365 days. That's enough to say, thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Then I went on a little further. As I was going, that was 52 weeks. So that's enough to say, thank you, God. And then I went on just a little further than that. I said, after 52 weeks, there was 48 Sundays. So I said, that's enough to say, thank you, God. Everything we do, we always say, thank you, God. Now, here's the kick about that. I was a 48 Sunday. Somebody being here 48 Sundays. You know you ought to say, thank you, God. Somebody being here 40 Sundays. You ought to say, thank you, God. Somebody being here 45 Sundays. You ought to say what? Thank you, God. So who did it to? God did it to. You know, they said one more blessing. Look out the blessing we just had. From last December to right now, we are still here. Now, you can't tell me nobody did that but look. God. Look at the people we have changed to here. Didn't make it to this day from last day. I just have to begin with that. With just thanking God, let it know how good He's been to us. Because we are still here. Now, as we look at him this last day, think about what we said last week. We started with 3 dudes. But the main thing we come up with is about your conscience. Let your conscience lead you, and let your conscience lead you in the right way. Don't be a burden to nobody else. Because God holds you responsible for that person that you're not leading to Him. Now, as we get into this lesson here, some things come on my mind about Him. They said this book of Ruth. This was one of the love books of the Bible. So if you want to find love, go and read the book of Ruth. But you remember, when you find love, you also going to find hate. Not only are you going to find hate, but you're going to find disappointment. Not only are you going to find disappointment, you're going to find sacrifice. When you find love, because love leads all that. When you love somebody, and what do they end up doing sometimes? Hurt you so that you break your heart. So that's love means that's what? Love is perfect. In this lesson today, we're going to talk about how God is perfect. Then we're going to look at how God is with Ruth. Let's think about what went on with the book of Ruth. Since this was a love and Ruth and Naomi, a mother-in-law. Now, you know, that was a good one. Sometimes we find good people in this world, good people in the other world, and they all Ruth they were supposed. That's the love story of the Bible. Think about yourself and your daughters, or your daughter-in-law. How are you? So, even me and our son-in-law, are we close to them? Do we have the same love that they have right there? Because love sometimes has to make a sacrifice. God made a sacrifice. What was the sacrifice? He sent Jesus. And that was nothing but what? Nothing but love. Out of that hours of bad folks in the world, God sent His Son because of love. So then again, I begin to think about it. Before I go any further, something that came across my mind. You know, in the Bible, I think there are books in the Bible. 66 books in the Bible. I know that. I thought about that. Now, in the 66 Bible, I think it says 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament. Okay, that makes a total of 66. Now, what came on my mind? Since the Bible, I studied, I went online, this class, and I found out still there was but 66 in the Bible. But now I found out in the 19th century, in the latter part of the 19th century, I think somebody must have came up with a 67 book of the Bible. Nobody said that. All right. Nobody. Somebody must have came up with a 67 book of the Bible. So I'm going to tell you more about that, then you can understand what I'm talking about. I just want to throw that number out there. Because we know, in the beginning, That was just 66 books of the Bible. But somebody decided they're going to have a 67 book of the Bible. Everybody wants it. I got you to think now. All right, well, here we go. Before we get to think about this 67 book of the Bible. Look what our subject says today. Changing identity. Now, when you get to talk about changing identity, you know, I forget to look what happened. God made me a man. But I decided that I want to be a woman. So what is that? Changing my identity. God made my little boy to be a boy. But I don't want my little boy to be a boy. I want to be a girl so bad. I want him to be a girl. Changing identity. You know how we change identity? You know, today you go to the doctor, be a man. If you decide you got the money to go to the doctor, they'll change you to be a woman. They want you to be changing identity. So if we think about what it's saying, we're talking about changing identity, what they're talking about, but there's one identity that did not change. What's that identity? Your DNA. You can say that, go to the doctor and say, well, doctor, I'm a man. I want to be a woman. Your DNA say what? You are a man still. No matter what you go to the doctor do, you still the same thing that God intended you to be. But we think today the subject said changing identity. The only way you can change identity is change identity like we did. How do we change identity? We change from a sinner to a what? Saint. That's my change identity. And who did that? God did that. No, then God did that. So if we look at this lesson today and talk about roots and change identity, we're going to see what happened there. Now, if you notice this lesson is about 3 women, a whole family beginning, what I like about this lesson, I don't down this man for what he did. Do you? If you think about what he did, he did. He did. He did. Who missed that? He did. God missed it. What he did, there was a famine in the land, so he decided he's going to take his family and do what? Move to another place. So that's a man for you. If things get bad for men, they usually look out for their family. They look out for the family. Used to. But a man, that's a normal man, but always going to look out for your family. So in looking out for his family, he decided he was going to take his family and he was going to leave. He was going to leave from where it was happening. That said there was a famine in the land, which no more than was God had put a rap, a curse in the land because of the same thing that happened. What had happened? They had disobeyed God. When did it start? When Moses led them out. What did Moses tell them? Don't do what they do. What did they do when they got over there? The same thing. When Moses died, Joshua come on. What did Joshua say? Same thing. Don't do what they do. But what happened? They got over there. They began to do what they done. And what I like about it, when they got over there, they met some brick houses. You know, when they met them brick houses, it got next to the line. And I already told them, leave the brick houses over there. If you got a block house over there, take it on with you. But when they got there, they decided they wanted to get to the brick houses. And you know, that kind of messed them up. And he told them, don't do it. So if we get in this lesson here, we're going to see what happens when you disobey God. Now, let me get back to that 60-something book. You know, nobody knows about this 60-something book. 1900, I would say 19th century, everybody was doing okay. Being somewhere in that latter part of the 19th century, somebody decided they're going to write another book. The reason I said they had to write another book because when I read in the 66th book, it said that God created who? Male and female. That's in the 66th book. So that means that 67th book must have said what? I can be who I want to be. That's the 67th book. You know, the 66th book said we should not commit adultery. But that 67th book said I can't commit adultery because I don't believe in who? I don't believe in God. The 66th book said we believe in God. And what I like about that 67th book, if you want to change your identity, you can change your identity. Who written that 67th book? Man, Satan. Satan written that book because everything God said, Satan said what? No, so that means that Satan had to write the 67 books. And what it said, there are not the 66 books in the Bible. What it tell me, let me read the scripture to make sure. I want you to know what I'm talking about. Revelation 22:18 said, "For I testify to every man that read the near word of the prophecies of this book. It shall add unto these things. God shall not add unto him the pledges that are written in the book." So you should not do what? Add nothing to God's word. But what happened? Satan added the 67 book. How is the 67 book? What is the 67 book? Sin. Satan added that. So you want to know why the book come out? Remember in the latter part of the 19th century, people begin to change who they were. They begin to say, I want to be a man, I want to be a woman. That got to be 67 book. Because in the 66 book, God said what? He created what? Male and female. So that means if you get that 67 book, but I haven't found it yet, it got to be there because we got too many people following that book. Now, when I read the 66 book, it said a woman's supposed to be what in church? Silent in church. But then when I get that 67 book, I see women are doing what in church? Preaching. So what is it? That got to be that 67 book because the 66 book says a woman's supposed to be silent in church. Huh, wait a minute. Am I hurting somebody? Are you following what I'm saying about that 67 book? I'm hurting. Okay, because there are no 67 books, but we don't add 67 books. Everything that we do against God, it got to be in that 67 book. What's that 67 book? I can have my woman and my wife too. That's that 67 book. Because God said you can't do that. In this lesson today, I thought I put it out to do that about that 67 book. Since it's not there, but look again. Hell, in Elijah, we say in that 67 book. Wait a minute. In that 67 book, it says, I can do anything I want. And I'm still going to help. That's that 67 book. But the 66 book says, no. That's the 66. But that 67 book says it's okay to do what you want to do. Because, God made me. Then, if you remember, in that 67 book, you got some people said, there are no God. That's the 67 book. But the 66 book says what? There is a God. Okay, now what book are you going to add on? How many people today are added to that 67 book? I see no hand. Because what? We know there are a lot of 67 books, but the thing that they're doing, it seems to be that somebody decided they're going to write another book. Somebody will add another book to the Bible. And then, I just want to look further. It says, 1 Peter 1:25, but the word of the Lord remains forever. I can't lie to you. Forever. So that means, that was the word back there. God didn't come and tell nobody else to add another book to his Bible. And then, let's get the last one. The last one said, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. What does amen mean? That's it. So if amen means that's it, how do you come up with a 67 book? Because if you read Revelation, the last word John said in Revelation, what does he say? Amen. That's the end. So what you're doing now, looking here, there's something wrong with that. As we get in this lesson, we're going to look like somebody in this book got into a 67 book. So the first thing we see Sister Ruth and Naomi. Now, when we begin to read this thing and read, what does it tell us about that?
Verse 6, well, going back home, verse 6. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and given them rest.
Look what happened. I told you at the beginning. She said as something going back home that this man, he stood up to be a man. He decided that he's going to take his family and move. Now he's leaving from a land that was already been cursed. But he's going to another land while people doing everything they should do. So he's going to run from God. How do you know? This man and his family will run from God. What did he do? He got his family. He got his wife. He got his 2 boys. And they decided they're going to go to what we say high country. But what happened there? In him doing that, what happened? What happened? They got killed. Let's see. They got there. They stayed there. And 10 years, I think it said he died first. So what happened? Once he died, he left his wife and his 2 boys. So what did they do? They decided they're going to go ahead and get them a what? A brick house. They decided what? They decided they're going to marry. And what happened? Not long after that, what happened to them two? They died. So what does tell you about that? God had put a what? A curse, a wrath already there. You're going to leave and you're going to take your family and go to a place that those people in the Jews did not get along at all. The Moab and Israel, they was constant fight. Now you're going to leave one place and go to that place where that's nothing but destruction, but you're running from who? You run from God. You're taking your family because the family in this land, and you're going to leave and go somewhere else. But read what that next tells us.
Verse 7. Wherefore she went out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah.
What happened? We saw that everybody's believing, except for her 2 daughter-in-laws. God spared them. So right from God, they're going back. Now, if you leave from one land, going to the other land to run from God, and then you decide you're going to come back home. So who that reminded you of coming back home? The prodigal son. When he got out there, he started, he spent everything he had, going what? Back home. You know what I like about that? It's always good that you can come back home. You know, some people leave away from home that the parents will never see it again. You stay where you are. So you always be able to go back home. Now, but you need to go back home in a good way. What happened here? He went out there. God took him and his 2 sons and left nobody but the woman and her 2 daughters-in-law. Look at that. Now here they go, getting ready to go back home. They leave Moab, going back to Judah. Now, when you think of Moab, anybody think about how Moab come about? Somebody tell me about Lot. What happened about Lot? Take a man out the face of their kids. You remember when Lot was running? They went to the mountain there. So what happened? The 2 daughters said, this is in our family. So what do we decide to do? We're going to sleep with Daddy. One at a time. Yeah. And they got pregnant. Once they got pregnant, they come with the name of what? Moab and Ammon. So what was it? The Moabites and Ammonites. Now, look what happened. Right there. What happened right there? That was already, you left for a land that was already bad in trouble because of who? The daughters. This comes from Lot's daughters. The land comes from Lot's daughters. So you leave from that land, going to another land. Now, you go back to this land here. This is Judah. Now, you know what happened to Judah, don't you? Paint your picture about what happened to Judah. What happened to Judah? Judah was the 4th son of Jacob. Do you remember that? And you know what happened then? Judah got his daughter-in-law pregnant with twins. So what happened? You in one land is already bad. You going to another land that even worse. Now what happened there? Judah, it happened, the wife died. So after the wife died, he going out and having, I guess, a good time. But when he ran up on the one he ran up on, he didn't know that was his daughter-in-law. So what happened? He got her pregnant. Look at that, and came up with twins. So I'm leaving the land of Judah, going to Moab. But what I like about it, this lesson says that changing identity, and only somebody can change identity is who? God. So God took all that from Judah, Moab, and came up with the best. What was the best he came up with? Through the line. If you come on down through them, these were churches, you come all the way to Jesus. Where did Jesus come from? DNA of Judah. Look at that. And look what Judah done. Now, you can't tell me what God can't do. Can't God change it? All you got to do is what? Believe that God can do what he says. Read it. What that next tells us?
Verse 8. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law. Go, return to each of her mother's house, and the Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me.
Naomi told him, go back. Go back to your land where you come from. Now, if you know the reason she told him that, because back then, if a husband died, who's going to take care of it? The mother. The son. This was a passed down. But here, both of her sons was dead. Now, what was the mother's job? So you either had to do that or you had to do prostitution. So what happened? She told them to go back to their land while they were. Now, I kind of like that because they only must have had some benefit from her 2 daughters. One of them, all right, read about the next chapter. Deacon said, Deacon.
Verse 9. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept.
What word just stand out to you? She told them that they're going to find a who? A husband. I'm sending my daughter-in-law back to find another man. Now, what would you do? I know what you do. If that old woman married, she wasn't no good, no how, because she looked where she is. She married again. That's the way we say it. She wasn't no good because she what? Married again. Your husband or your son is dead. So this woman is free to marry, but you know, we hold them grudges. Look, she don't want to marry. But what she told her? Go back and find them some what? Why she did that? Because she didn't want them out on the street. Prostitution back then. Without that, so that's why she told that. But you know that grudge that we have, don't do nothing like that. That's why I'm supposed to marry. That's what happened. So Naomi, that's that love. Come on, Dick, Bridget.
And the Bible tells us there that if you become a widow at an early age, you need to marry again. It's in the New Testament.
He's going to the New Testament, but we don't have it like that. We don't never forget that. You shouldn't marry. You were married to my what? My son. Let the woman marry again. What it was, Naomi had love for her because she know they were going to be out there doing something that no good, even though they came from that country. Now, think about that. And read it, what that next one tells us.
Verse 10. And they said unto her, surely we will return with thee unto thy people.
They said, surely we return. But we know something about that. One of them did follow what it said. Surely we return. That means she went back to her people. Now think about what her people were, those Moab folks. Those Moab folks and Israelites didn't get along. There always was a war between those two. Now he said, I'm going back there. So okay, you go back. Then with that, there's a question that follows that. Says, how does the instant of the Lord coming to aid his people in verse 6 provide hope for believers today who face a different life change? How does verse 6 about Naomi's daughter going back to the country help you? I tell you how it is. If you believe in who? God, and trust God, all you got to do is what? Stay where you are. Because God put a wrath on them because of the sin they had done. He kept telling them over and over, don't worship the who? Idol of God. That's what the worst thing to curse out. Don't worship idol of God. What do we do today? We worship idol of God. And God tell you, that's a no-no for God. Do not worship that idol of God. But we do it all the time. What's your idol of God? Money. Somebody said money. Anything you quote God. Houses, your wife, your husband, your clothes, your job. Anything you put before God is your idol of God. But we look down on those people that said, woo! You see how they worship on the stove? What did you worship? A suit. What did you worship? A car. What did you worship? Your children. But look how you put other folks down back there. And it says that put no other God before who? Him. Put no other God before him. No matter what you make up your God, don't put it before him. And then, read the next one said, my name is Billy. Look what happened. Now, why do you think she said her name is Billy? Because she's mad. Who was she mad at? Her husband? Mad at God. Why was she mad at God? God had taken who? Her husband. God had taken her 2 sons. And God had left them out there hanging. So what happened? I am mad at God. It said, my name is Billy. How many times have you been mad at God or something? Then you've been mad once. All right. Been mad at God. Why would you mad at God?
He's okay. He took my two babies. I can bring them for a long time. I said, if you love me, you would not have taken my children. You would not have taken their life. But my mom explained to me, she said, baby, if they had a little, they probably would have been handicapped, and they were already sick when they were born. And it took me a while, but I understood. But I was hurt at that time. You know. You heard me say stuff. And I was so hurt. She said, when I took them to the doctor, she had spinal meningitis and broke her neck. And, you know, but I hated God for it. And I had to repent because my mama was white, the doctor was white, she was a lady known. And it took me a long time to get myself back together. I was afraid, I didn't talk to no, I wouldn't do nothing. I just didn't care because I was so afraid by my baby. And you know, but I had to ask him to forgive me for getting angry.
And see what I love, God already saw yesterday, before yesterday even came here. So what happened? That's not even a trust of your faith. How well or how much do you trust God? Well, things don't go my way. What do? I get mad just like her and I get bitter because it's not my way. But I like about God. God already saw yesterday. God already seen today. And God said what? Tomorrow. What I got to do is have what? Have faith in God. If God gave me those two children, He turn around and give you, and He did. How many did He give him? He gave him 5, because I have 5. So that's level up. So He did gave us some more. Look how God do. He may not be your wife, but still God gave you some more. So all you got to do is what? Trust and believe in God. That's what we got to do. This is why I said she was built. Her name, she said, is something else. Look what we got here, reader. What does it tell us about that?
Verse 11. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughter. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands?
Look what it says. Why you want to go with me? I'm too old to get pregnant again. And then if I get pregnant again, are you going to wait on that child till he grows up? And what the answer was that? No, both of them was no. And that Naomi was trying to get the point to them, tell them that. I want you to go ahead because look at the condition I'm in. Then, you know, go back to what he said earlier. Go back to the book of Leviticus, they said. Said if a man married and he died without having a child, who's supposed to take the wife? The next brother. If that brother died, doesn't have a child, who takes the wife? The next brother. If that brother died, and who takes the child? The woman. The next brother. What she was saying? Are you gonna wait that long? Let me see what happened there. When I read that, somebody said something about this. Pass it on down. Pass it. I'm not gonna take my brother home. I'm not taking second hand. Ooh, me gonna take a second hand woman. He had her. I don't want her. I believe that's what the Bible says. You know, that's how you do. Because you're supposed to take care of that woman. Naomi just told her, are you gonna wait that long? And look what happened. I believe the same thing happened to Judah. How Judah come about? You know, he had them sons, 3 of them. 2 of them, they died. And he said, now, Lord, 2 of my sons died. And I got 1 more. He wondered was God going to take that 1 more. Because he said, this one was waiting on that girl, his wife, who was been out there and beginning to have an affair with him, who came with a prostitute he thought. So what happened there? That all came out the same way. Because 1 son died, the next son's supposed to take over. Look what happened. One of them, remember when he spilled his seed? You know what I'm talking about. When he spilled that, why did he do that?
He didn't want to lay with that woman.
He didn't want to lay, he didn't want to bring up that child. So what happened there? That was happening to him. And the first one, he was so cruel that God killed him. So what Judah said, nah, you're going to kill 2. So my 3rd one, this is my little boy here, and asked his daughter-in-law, are you going to wait on him? So he figured that time, that was not going to happen. So what happened there? decided to go out there and have an affair, not knowing that was his own daughter-in-law. But what happened? Another passed down like that there. But you know, we can't wait on God. We got to make our own decision. And Rita, what that next chapter?
Verse 12. Turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say, I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear son.
What she said, I'm too old. I can't have no children. So what I want you to do, go back where you come from. Now look at Naomi. Naomi still had love. This is what you call love. You send these women back where they come from, that married your son. And Rita, what that next tells us?
Verse 13. Would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me.
Look what she telling me. You mean to tell me? She telling me, would you stay with me until this child get grown, if I can have a child? Which that what happened, said she was already old, she couldn't have a child. But she said, in the end, what is it? That the Lord is mad at her. Was the Lord mad at her? The Lord was not mad at her. What happened there, they made a bad decision. What was the decision? You leave from one land, going to another land that was already had problems. So she said the Lord was mad at her because what? He took her husband and he took her 2 sons. So what's the first thing coming to mind? The Lord is mad at me. What did my wife say? The Lord was mad at her because he took her baby. You know how we put things on the Lord? When things are going good, do we get the Lord credit? When something goes bad in your life, what's the first thing you say? You go back to where you come from. You put it on the who? The Lord did. Why did the Lord do this to me? That's the first thing. And then we keep asking yourself, why did the Lord do this to me? You get mad at the Lord. What she said, she was bitter at the Lord. And whose fault was that? Their fault. Because all they had to do was what? Stay and wait on who? Wait on God. Stay and wait on God. But what they decide to do, they going to get up there and what? Run from God. Going to a place that's already worse than the place you live. You know, sometimes we do that. What it says, how we change people. Sometimes the man you got is better than the one you go get. What you do? You decide to go get him. Get rid of him. Why?
He looks better.
Well, things are not like they were supposed to be. What you say, preacher?
They go get him, but he looks better. He got a nice car. He got the real love. And he got a wad of money, but that man that you with, he ain't got no wad of money. He just hard with the money.
Preacher said they go try to get better. But with that better come nothing but hardship and hurt. Because that better's already doing good for himself. So he's not going to let you come in and take what he got. All you got to do is just hold on and wait on God. That song said, hold on just a what? A little while longer. But we can't hold on. You've been with me for 40 years. Things get tough in my life. Now you decide that you're going to move on.
Wow.
What happened when things was good in my life? We had a little ups and downs, but you stayed with me. But now you see Deacon Washington out, and you get out of here and decide to go again. He wears a suit every Sunday. What I wear blue jeans every Sunday. So I'm going to Deacon Washington. He must have some money. He drives a nice truck and said, he got a motorcycle. I want to ride on that motorcycle. What do I have? I got a bicycle. But what is it? See, go. That's how we do. You know, we look at things from outside, but we don't know what's going on what? Inside. What's going on inside that you leave me and go to him, he going to go upside your head when he said no. For me, I'm just going to smile and say, okay, we'll back it out. So that's when things happen. You think you're getting better, but you end up getting what? Worse than what you got. I hear you, preacher.
That's what the old folks said. You thought the grass was green over there.
Thought the grass was green on the other side.
Yeah.
But what you find out, the sun has scorched that grass. When you get
Watch
there.
out, baby.
It's already going up. Here we go. I like that. It's all right, preacher. Look what she said there. For your sakes, the Lord made her. And then there's the question. The question says, what spirit of discipline can help believers overcome bitterness during unsettled, life-changing circumstances? Just keep on. Oh, go ahead. Too good to me. So good, I'll get it. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. Verse 15.
Decided to leave. One side she gonna stay, the other side she gonna leave. One said, I'm going back where I come from. The other said, I stay. Now let's think about us. How many of us have a daughter-in-law feel that good about us? If they want to stay. Let's see how many have. Well, look at that. So what is it? Some of us must not be doing something right, huh? If that's the case there. That she don't want to stay. You got somebody. Have you noticed that some family members don't even get along? I tell my wife all the time. I said, now, when I married her, I didn't marry a family. But I married one out of the family. But I want to get along with the family. So that's what we all want to do, get along with the family. We know we all marry one individual, but you got some people there, they don't even get along with the in-laws. One thing, some people don't even get along with their own family. So that means you can't get along with your in-laws because you can't get along with your own blood, your own DNA. But right here, what she told her, she kissed her and said, go ahead. Read it. Now read that next one.
Okay. Verse 15. And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law.
One side that she gonna do what? Go back. One side that she gonna stay. The one side she going back to where she come from. The other side that she gonna stay. The one that went back knows how it was when she left there. The one that stayed didn't know what's gonna happen in the future, but she did what? She still stayed there. What that tells me, that was nothing but love. Who was that love for? Naomi. This is the love that Ruth showed Naomi. I'm gonna stay with you. But the other side, I go back to where I come from because I know how it is back there. This one said, I'm gonna stay. And I like the next part. This next part really gonna sum it up why she really want to stay with her. But then I get to my question. Now can I get my question? The question says, Deacon said, I can't get my question. All right. What spiritual discipline can help believers overcome bitterness during unsettled and life-changing circumstances? How can you have somebody that's really mad at God? Tell them God is still good. God is good to me. God is good to you. I've been out there doing the same things, some of the same things that you done, and God is still what? Good. Don't tell them, yeah, I know what you're talking about, child. Now you can tell them, I know what you're talking about, but that same God, He did it for me, and that same God will do it what? I believe you read this morning where I said there are no respecters of what? So what did that mean? That means God sees everybody. God sees everybody as what? Right and wrong. God doesn't see poor or rich. What God sees? God sees your heart. What's in that heart? Right and wrong. What's in your conscience? Right and wrong. So what does God look at? God looks at your heart. He doesn't see how good you look, whether you're a brick or block. All God is see how that heart look on the inside. That's what we got to realize. So what happened right here? You're supposed to be able to tell somebody when they got their head down, even if they may be going through some sickness, what you supposed to tell them? It will be all right. God will what? God will fix it. All you got to do is what? Believe and trust that God will do what? Fix it. Some of the same things somebody been through, you've been through too. So what can you do? You can tell them, I've been through that. I know how good God is. I didn't do everything He said, but He still brought me through. You know, that's what you got to do. But what do? We always knock it down. What is the last week? Don't put anything on a person's shoulder. Don't put that on their conscience. Don't put the weight on them. Our job is not to put weight on somebody. What's our job to do? Help them. Lift that weight up there. Our job is to be a light of the what? A light of the world. So that means we should always do what? Shine all the time. Now, when your light get dim, something wrong with it. We supposed to put a light of the world. So that means if somebody want to do something, they should be able to come to you and tell you. You got to be able to tell them. Thank you. It's going to be all right. Because the same God was yesterday, The same God is today, and the same God gonna be what? Tomorrow. If he brought the Israelite over, can he bring it over? Can he do it? He's already done. Some people in the church know what God can do. You know what God can do. That same God that did it for them, he didn't change. He's still doing it today. He's still working miracles. Look at some of you. You're a miracle God. Who did it? God did it. So if he did that, he can do it. All you got to do is tell somebody, I know what you did. But the same God that brought me through can bring you through. And I got to go to that next one. That next one says, gotta get good to it. Hey, the turn of faith.
I'm glad y'all told me to tell them folks it's gonna be all right. I ain't sure been telling them that. All I've been telling them to look to the hill because what you might think is right ain't right for them. I tell them look to the hill from which comes. That's all.
Who is in the hill? God. So what you telling about? You telling about who? God. I'm telling about God. It's not the hill. It's who up in the hill, over the hill. Who is that? God. So that's who you talk to. I'm not talking about a hill. I'm not talking about a mountain. I'm talking about who? God. Because who brought me through? God. Who created the hill? Who created the mountain? Who created the tree? Thank you. That's all I got. Take it to God. When I give it to him, I don't worry about it. That's what I got to do. Give it to nobody but who? God. He's good. When is he good? All the time. When is all the time? All the time. He never stopped being good to me. He brought me when I was a little boy to where I am now. He brought you from a little girl to where you are now. He did that. I'm going to tell you, you're too good to me. All right?
It's been good, man. It's been good.
That's our word. He's been good.
It's been good.
Here we go. You got to determine faith. Read it. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And Ruth said, entreat not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go. And where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God.
Simple. Wherever you go, I go wherever you go, mother-in-law. I'm not going to leave you. I'm still going with you. Whatever you got, whatever that God that you got, that God now, I'm going to say with that God that you got. Because I know about that God you got now. That God that I was worshiping, I'm leaving him alone. I'm going to your God. Read him. Give us that next one.
Verse.
Oh, I need to say something.
All right.
What she said a while ago, that other girl was going back to the small G gods and had an S behind it. And then you get to this girl, she said, I'm going with your mama now to the big G God.
Going to that little God, the same thing we talk about. Anything that little God. She went to that. He said that big God. So that's that God that sits high and look what? That's that God that said, in the beginning he created what? Who did that? What God was that? The big God. Put it like that. The big God did that. What did the good God do? Nothing. When they went to the good God, what happened there? Nothing. What was the good God? Pagan God. What did he do? Nothing. Nothing but the what? Nothing but the big God.
Work with it, dude. Work with it, man. Come on with it.
Let's go ahead and submit this thing.
Verse 17. Where thou diest, I will die, and there will I be buried. And Lord, do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me.
Watch out.
Nothing.
Watch out, bro.
Wherever you go, I'm going.
Yeah.
If you die, I die. I'm gonna stay with you. What if I'm gonna stay with you all the what? All the way. Nothing gonna change me. I've already changed because I'm leaving. He said the little God coming to the what? The big God. So I've already changed. Really, give me that last.
All right, verse 18.
And then go ahead, Lee.
Okay, verse 18. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. Verse 22. So Naomi returned, and Ruth to the Moabites, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem, the beginning of barley harvest.
Look what happened. The other went back.
Yeah.
She stayed with her. And what happened? They came to the father's house, and you read that story right there, we know what happened during that harvest time. But that other, she went back there. But she stayed with her because she said, if you die, I die. The same God here will take you, I want to go to. I want to worship your God. Now, I got to end this way here because I'm running out of time. It says, I'm going to give you a little bit of example. Now, we know what he was trying to do. He was trying to run from God. But what happened in his running from God, he forgot something. This is what he forgot. He forgot it. This is what he forgot. When he left, who was already there? Who did he thought he left? God. But why was God there? When he left God. He thought. When he got there, God was already there. So what is it? You can't leave it? Because he already have been all the time,
Don't have some church there, people. That's where you do your Sunday school, boy. Yeah.
I got to leave it. I got to leave it, folks. Yeah, I got to leave it. Turn over to me. Just remember that. You listen to Word all the time. When you get up in the morning, He is there. When you lay down, He is there. On your job, He can give you a lot of help. What is it? He is there. And I sit down.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. That's the way you close it out, man. Yes, sir. He's there. That's all.